just put the black. There we go. Okay, here we go. Round of applause for Alan once again. Yeah.
So, hey guys, my name's Alan. I'm 16 and I go to Rainy Total College. So, today I'll share my testimony with you guys about my story with Jesus and how my life was before and after coming to Christ. So basically, I was going to church pretty much since the earliest time I could remember, since my mom was a Christian and I pretty much had no choice but to follow her. Because at such a young age, even though I couldn't fully understand what was going on, like what it meant to live in Christ, I was intrigued by all the Bible stories that my mom was telling me. However, as I grew older, my relationship with God wasn't really changing much. I was still attending church every Sunday, but my faith didn't really play much of a role outside of that. Praying to God and occasionally reading the Bible was kind of just like another activity for me to do, and like once I finished doing that every day, it was just over, and I carried on with my day without any thought like about God. I was pretty much just your typical kid that just happened to go to church every Sunday. At that point, I never really thought that going to church was something uncool, so I didn't really deny it, but I wasn't exactly open to talking about God either. So Christianity back then was just something that I kept to myself. It was really personal and it was quite one-sided. My prayers to God had always just been selfish requests. Like, it was always about what I wanted, and while I did tell myself that I wanted to strengthen my relationship with God, I would just completely forget about the next day and return to doing things without considering what His word was. At that point, even though my relationship wasn't growing, I didn't really stray away from God either, which many others who had been born into Christianity had done so. I guess that I felt that way because I was able to live both lives without any problems, as if they were running parallel to each other. I think the one thing that was stopping me from putting my faith in God at that point was that there wasn't really a dramatic event in my life where I knew that I was being saved by the presence of God. I never really experienced anything like what I heard from the Bible stories or from the testimonies of other Christians at my church. I was always just waiting for that one moment. I was waiting for that one moment where God would appear and save my life, but that moment never happened. And maybe it never will the way that I was hoping it to be. But then I slowly realized that there doesn't have to be a dramatic event or an interesting story in order for me to put my faith in Christ. And just like everyone else, there's always been rough times and countless problems occurring in my life. And I think that because He's helped me throughout all these obstacles, no matter how minuscule they may seem, I was able to realize how much that He cares for us, and that everything will be okay if I just live my life following the path that Jesus laid out. And so this brings me to a Bible verse that stuck with me, and it's Isaiah chapter 20 verse 29, which says, "The Lord gives strength to those that are weary." And I think this helped me have a better understanding of what it means to be Christian. It's made me realize that it's okay to go through problems in life, as even though it seems like we're facing an immovable wall, it could turn out to be a time where I think that our relationship with God is the strongest. I think the biggest reason why my life turned to Christ right now is because of attending this youth. The youth leaders have been so supportive throughout all these years to us, and I think that because of all the impactful sermons and because of all their positive energy, they've helped build up my faith in God, and I believe that it's the same for many of you guys as well. So, after turning to Christ, the past 2 years for me have been a time where I feel like being Christian is no longer just reserved for Sundays anymore. Even though I still constantly forget to put Christ first before I act, I'm much more aware of my actions and how I think now. After coming to Christ for me wasn't exactly a drastic change in my life, as I had already known a lot about him. And Christianity, but it's given me a goal in life to pursue, and I know that this is only the beginning. There's going to be a lot of tough situations thrown towards me in the future, but what is different now is that God is there to guide me, and I know that He's going to give me the wisdom to walk down the right path, and in the end, as long as my faith in Him remains, I know that He'll help me through all the hardship.